Leadership is characterized by those who find their own voice and who, regardless of formal position, inspire others to find theirs. Imagine, if you will, just for a moment, creating the blueprint for the perfect organization. What would it look like? Where would you start? Let's start with the basics. The lifeblood of any organization is people. Pretty basic, right? Okay, but you don't just hire any people. You start hiring some highly skilled individuals. Nicely done. Skills are good, but skills are not enough. They're just potential, and as we know, potential means nothing unless you unlock it. Let's assign them positions in our organization that best utilizes those valuable skills. All right, now everyone has a function. Everyone knows what they're doing and how to do it. Wait, there's a problem. Each individual is isolated from the other by position, title, years of service, where they are on the organizational flowchart. They work in silos, trapped in a hierarchy of function, making true, authentic connections with each other difficult, and connecting with the higher purpose of the organization nearly impossible. It's not just about the what and how we do our work. It's about the why. Imagine if we connected all these highly skilled individuals, irrespective of position, title, or years of service, by placing them in a safe and supportive environment where anything and everything is possible. In these small groups, authentic relationships are formed and leadership is defined through influence rather than where you stand on the organizational flowchart. With enough of these circles, each and every person would eventually be connected to every other person, understanding the overall purpose of the organization and their impact on the world in which they live. So, do you know what a leadership circle is?
My name's Laura Steffen. I'm a research coordinator in the Innovation and Research Unit of the Social Services Department. Do you want me to say more than that, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What have you heard? Tell me.
Good question. I actually haven't heard a ton about them. People thought leadership circles were kind of like a cult that you would get invited to. It's only for management. You had to have expertise in certain fields. The worst case scenario would be not knowing anything about the topic that's being discussed. I don't even know if there are questions. That would make me nervous. Best case scenario would be topics that everyone can relate to and open conversations, inspire the people around you and bring about new ideas. I don't think I've heard that. Judging by the email, so there's a couple familiar faces. I didn't know a lot of the names on the list. The location I'm not too sure about. I know it's not here, so I hope I don't get lost.
You went to your first leadership circle. Mm-hmm. Tell me about it. Give me my first impressions about the leadership circle.
My first impressions were good. I walked in, everyone seemed very comfortable with each other. I liked the snacks. A few people mentioned they weren't really sure what they were walking into. We all started talking right off the bat and we're just having general conversation, which was nice to get to know the people that I'll be in leadership circle with. I think there was someone from almost every division. What happens in the circle stays in the circle. They told us a couple times and ensured everyone that it's a confidential environment, that everyone should feel safe sharing. I'm an open book. If it's a sensitive subject, maybe we can not name names, things like that, but it's just it's a safe place for us to share. I liked it. I was a little apprehensive when they started mentioning homework and they handed out the binder with readings in it. I didn't know how much time this might take. We all asked questions about what we have to do and what's expected, and I felt more comfortable about that.
Like, what happened at the end? How did it finish?
I did ask about the secret handshake. Apparently that's still coming. I haven't learned that one yet. Still waiting.
You know that's going on. You know that's going on, right? Okay.
Leadership circles were introduced in 2009 to create a space for staff to come together from across our programs and services and learn about what it means to lead. Staff have described the experience as being transformational, as feeling more empowered, more confident in their own abilities to influence change within their work areas. And what's happened is a community has developed, a community within which staff feel comfortable to reach out to one another, share ideas, share their experiences, and together co-create new solutions to enhance our services.
Because of leadership circles, we now have a culture that supports innovative, creative ways of enhancing services. We've introduced innovation labs, and we're learning about human-centered design, behavioral economics, experimentation, and co-production. Our innovation labs are unique in that they borrow from the principles of leadership circles and are blended with process improvement, innovation, and design techniques so that staff from across the department, regardless of position or title, can work together to enhance their ideas and create new ways of improving services. So they're really in leadership roles and are empowered to have change and make impact within the organization.
We are a world-class organization that values the expertise and knowledge of our staff. We are all leaders. Leadership circles are built on these principles. They demonstrate our department's value of care, excellence, learning, and leadership. This ensures our service excellence to the vulnerable citizens we support.
You've been to several leadership circles now, so tell me what you're thinking about them now.
I've been to about 6 of them. By having relationships with people across all of the divisions, I feel that it's a way to connect the whole department by understanding what other people are dealing with in their workplace, what they do on a day-to-day basis. I feel like I understand the organization as a whole better. Everyone, no matter if someone's a manager or someone's a frontline worker or clerical worker, everyone has equal voice, equal opinions, and can share what they think about a topic just as much as someone who might have a completely different role who's sitting next to them. People feel that their opinions matter. By having the experience of the leadership circle, I do feel more empowered, that I'm able to take risks and to try things in the workplace, and that I have a safe place to bring back my successes and my challenges and to talk about them with people who will understand and be willing to listen and to share their experiences and ideas.
The path to creating an inspired workplace, it's not easy. It's fraught with obstacles, naysayers, inconvenience, and setbacks. You know, a new generation entering the workforce today is looking for purpose in their careers. They're looking for an inspiring cause to be part of, and they're also looking for an inspiring workplace to belong to. Research indicates today that only 5% of workers around the world are inspired to work to their full potential. Think about that, 5%. It means 95% of workers around the world feel like they have more to contribute, more to offer. Now there's a critical tension in organizations today. On one hand, they need to be efficient places where they deliver their goods and services. So taken to extreme, people can feel like a cog in a wheel. And yet people are designed for purpose. People are made for community. The challenge for leaders today is to really create workplace environments that allow people to flourish and make their contributions. Leaders can be good strategists, good operators, good managers, but it isn't enough. Leaders today also need to be culture builders. They create environments in the workplace that allow their people to flourish and to thrive. So what can leaders do? Let me talk about 3 things. Values. Leaders need to live by a set of values, an underlying set of values that reflects the value of people. Classic servant leadership principles, for example, emphasize things like empathy, hope, listening, and the commitment to growth of people. If organizations have leaders that live out these kinds of values over the long run, regardless of whatever kind of organization or business they are, things will be done better. They will be more effective. Second thing I'd like to talk about is the inner journey of a leader. You know, so much of the focus today in leadership literature is on technique, methodology, and skills. Now, these are very critical for a leader, no doubt, but so little attention gets placed on the inner journey of a leader. It's the inner journey where the values of the leader get developed. It's a place where a leader comes face to face with their insecurities and fears, and it's a place where one's conviction and one's calling actually gets shaped. A leader who takes that inner journey to forge that character is going to be a leader who's going to inspire others and who's going to build community around them. The third thing that leaders can do is to create environments where people can grow. You know, most organizations today are looking for innovation, are looking for creativity, and looking for engagement. But what's the source of those things? You know, it's been our experience that those things are derived really from a culture that's at work, a culture that builds community in the workplace. One initiative that can really catalyze this is something called leadership circles. Leadership circles are essentially a group of 8 to 10 leaders across the organization that gather together periodically to reflect and learn about leadership. The real magic is that it's a safe place for people to be themselves, to come as persons first. And in that context, really interesting things happen. People have a chance to offer and receive encouragement. They have an opportunity to think differently about their leadership and how they're delivering services in their department. It's a place to think unconventionally and differently about how they are a leader. In our wired life today, we really need that time and space to do that. It's also a place to think about what kind of transformation can they bring to the workplace that can actually grow and create community right where they work. It may be considered irrelevant by some and unrealistic to achieve by others. It challenges the status quo and makes workplace bullies uncomfortable. It may cause you to grow and lead in ways that seem professionally risky. It can be messy. We have journeyed through these challenges personally in harsh organizational terrain, and we leave you with this simple encouragement. We have seen profound impact and change in the lives of people at work and for whom they serve. To see the walking dead at work come back to life and make outstanding contributions has been one of the most rewarding of experiences in our lives. It is worth it to pursue this journey, because when your career ends, you will not have just simply completed a job, but you will have made a lasting impact on the world.
Hello, I'm Christina Baldwin. I'm the co-author of The Circle Way and the president of Pure Spirit Incorporated. And for 22 years, I have been traveling around the world teaching people how to come back into circle, actually helping remind us that this is the basic unit of social interaction. Durham Region Social Services Department is really a leading edge organization, not only in how you're providing services to your client base and their communities, but also attending to the inside of the organization and the inside of the people who work here. And one of the things that gives me great hope for this organization and department is this joy to see the kind of living environment that that creates. The subtitle of our book is A Leader in Every Chair, and I see that very much happening here in the Social Services Department, and how it's just organically then beginning to spread into the whole organization. This is such an important thing for growing the department, is to have a sense that there is new leadership and there are people who are having transformational moments. And if you want one yourself, I'm sure that you can find a way to have it. So come on into the circle and don't be afraid.
Now, what is community in the workplace? First of all, it's building the creation of a regenerative workplace culture where the heart, mind, and spirit are welcome. Community releases the spirit of innovation by creating spaces in the organization where employees can find a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense of creativity, a sense of meaning, joy, and fulfillment. Community is about relationship building. And relationship is what it's all about in the workplace. Community is not easy to build in an organization. It requires courage. And it requires even more courage to maintain it. But let me tell you, when the rubber hits the road, you want community in your organization. And I'm going to tell you a story now that's so raw and so recent for me that if I'm a little emotional, I'm not apologizing. On Monday morning, I woke up to a call that one of our long-term care facilities, and we have 4 of them, had a major fire that would likely destroy the building.
My name is Rebecca Thompson, and I'm an environmental services worker at Fairview Lodge. On October 27th, 2014, it was a day just like any other day. I woke up that morning and my alarm didn't go off, so I happened to be late that day, and luckily Sue had gotten the laundry started and we got started on a good day of work. That day we had been ahead of schedule, and we were actually getting close to being almost finished. Then we all went for break, and that's when everything changed. We were just talking about the weekend when suddenly one of our co-workers ran out of the building, and she was clearly in distress. She was screaming, and reaching for the unit. We quickly realized that we needed to get them out. So we ran over to the fence, and it was locked. So I fumbled with my keys for a bit and realized we couldn't get in. So Sue, Nella, and Tina jumped over the fence, and once they got to the door, they realized it was locked. Tina looked over and discovered a shovel sitting next to the door, so she yelled, "Back up," and she threw the shovel through the window and broke right in. As soon as the door opened, you could see all of the billowing smoke. The staff were going in and out, grabbing 1, 2 residents at a time, and we were able to take all the residents away from the area onto the driveway. When we brought them out, they were in what they were in. Some of them had clothes on, some of them didn't have jackets. You just got them out. Johanna Gibner, she lived in the back units. I think her vision is slightly impaired. I had her in my arm trying to bring her to the bus. The buses came to take the residents away to safety. So I noticed her pulling on me, and I looked back and she was clearly in pain. She didn't want to go any further. I figured out that she's not wearing any shoes and her feet are freezing, and that's why she can't walk. So I kind of looked at my feet and I looked at her feet, and I thought, well, let's try it. So I took my shoes off, and I asked her to hold on to my shoulders, and I put her feet into my shoes, and sure enough, she started to walk for me, so I got her onto the bus. I left her with the shoes on. I walked around for another 3 or 4 hours without shoes, but I kind of didn't really notice because you're busy doing things. Sue and I went back into the building, into the laundry room, and brought out blankets to cover them all up, and yeah, we had to just deal with what they had at that point, because we couldn't go back in and get anything. Johanna Gibner's daughter came up to the door, and I was kind of in earshot, and I heard her ask about her, and Dorothy said to her, you know, I know that she's okay because she's got on my friend's shoes. The daughter was a little bit shocked by that, but she stayed where she was. She has my shoes. I don't know where they are today.
Why did you do it? Why did you
Well,
give? Why?
It was the only thing to do. Like, of course, you give a resident whatever they need. Like, that's just, you know, you don't work here unless you are willing to do that kind of thing. There were lots of people who went above and beyond that day. Environmental services, food services, PSWs, registered staff, co-workers, management, upper management, everybody. I saw many acts of kindness. They trust our judgment in decisions, and you know what? We're kind of empowered. I believe that that's why we did so well. It makes a difference.
I just would love to just thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. They do such a wonderful job. They're such caring people, and truly, truly amazing.
We had to get 192 residents out of the building. Our staff went to work. They were just amazing. It was incredible to see them work. They got 192 residents out safely There were no injuries to staff or residents. It was a miracle. You should have seen as they were wheeling out the wheelchairs and the beds, and the staff bending down and touching the residents and talking to them and reassuring them. And then we eventually took 192 people to an evacuation center. And by midnight on Monday, everybody had a bed. They were found in hospitals, they were found in other long-term care facilities. The staff worked together. Ladies and gentlemen, that's community in action. So I've talked about what leaders need in this new age. First of all, they need a sense of time. A time when hope and love and purpose are all bringing together. And I've talked about community, connectivity, the need for connectivity, which will be so important in the new age. And I've talked about leaders of this new age being people of the journey. People who are willing to walk alongside others, not in front of them or not behind them, but walk alongside of them. My legacy for work is I want people to know that life is more than work. I want them to deeply experience their career year, and that's all of you, as time in their lives that contributed to their growth as human beings first, and as professionals second. I want them to remember that their time in this workplace was meaningful, rewarding, and growth-producing. I want people to have experienced acceptance, compassion, and a sense of belonging in their journey year. I want their time here to be a launching pad for their continuing journey. I want to leave a legacy of a nurturing workplace where people are free to use their gifts and support one another to the end of gaining greater work and life satisfaction. I want each individual in this workplace to realize how important they are. I want to leave behind changed lives, knowing deep within that in some small way I have participated in the transformation of people. I want people to remember that I meant and believed it with every fiber of my being, however imperfectly I lived it, that people are precious.